What's going on, everyone? So we're getting new characters and little story points and stuff like that. Obviously, they are currently filming the upcoming Scream 7, so you're going to get a lot of information, a lot of details coming out. Be very careful, because a lot of stuff is spoilers, and something that we're about to get into here shortly will be spoilers. Nothing like major, not like, oh, the killer is this or anything like that. Just some interesting little tidbits that I thought were fascinating that I'm sure many people would like to know about and hear about. Kind of add a bunch of speculation, and this has my brain rattling and racking all kinds of different scenarios and stuff like that. But, you know, just, again, always be careful, because not everyone is going to give you a heads up like I am right now. But this is a heads up because we are about to get into some spoilers, minor spoilers, but still. Some people I know don't want spoilers at all. Some people I know only want like minor ones. Some people, you know, don't really care. But now's your chance. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get into it. So if you're still here, I assume that you don't care about spoilers. So let's talk about it. So Scream 7 rumors. Again, everything's a rumor until it comes out and is official. Take the stuff always with a grain of salt. A middle-aged character whose name starts with a K could be a code name, right? So it doesn't mean that it is like Kyle or Kevin or anything like that. It could just be a placement name, right? Will escape a psychiatric hospital in Scream 7. Also, Mark's mother also should appear on a video call taking care of Sidney Prescott's youngest daughter while the Ghostface attacks. So let's start with the bottom part, the mother part, because that I think is the easier part, and then we'll talk about the character from the psych hospital. So this likely explains why Sidney's youngest children aren't there. So, you know, because this film appears to be just kind of the oldest daughter and, you know, Sidney and her new husband Mark and all of that. But it was like, okay, well, where's like the child that was being pushed in the stroller, right? So she has 3 children. Okay, this is gonna have 2. Well, where's the youngest? Well, the youngest appears like it's gonna be at Grandma's house, right? Grandma's gonna be taking care of the youngest child. Ghostface is gonna show up and attack. I'm sure that, you know, Grandma will keep and hold on to the youngest child while Sidney and her oldest daughter and everyone are being attacked. So I think that this just gives us a simple explanation as to why you'll probably see, you know, Grandma holding the baby and Sidney like, hi, baby, like, you know, or her daughter or whatever, and, you know, just little back and forth moment, and then Ghostface will attack, and hopefully, now see, I'm curious, is Ghostface going to attack Sidney at Sidney's house, or is Ghostface going to attack at the grandma's house? Maybe killing the grandma and taking the baby. Something to keep about, but we'll dive into that and go through a whole theory and idea about that coming here shortly. So look forward to that video. But again, just kind of wanted to give you some information in that regard, because I did find this fascinating. But the psychiatric part, right? So is this just a red herring, right? Again, going under the assumption that these are true. We don't know until it actually happens, but is it just a red herring, right? Someone escapes from a psychiatric hospital. We're going to immediately assume that they're involved, or they're the killer, or they're the reason why. Ultimately, it's not, right? Or is it somebody that was like part of Sidney's past that she knows and is aware of, or part of her daughter's past or something, right? Like, is it a character that has a significant meaning and connection? Could it be Stu Macher? That's probably the first thing that came to my mind. I'm going to do a whole video breaking that down and explaining into that. I am not big on Stu Macher and Stu Macher returning, but I have said if they were ever going to do it, this is the movie that they'd probably do it in. And, you know, there's where Stu's been this whole time, locked away in a psychiatric hospital, and it says middle-aged character, right? So, you know, Stu would be middle-aged at this point, just something to kind of keep in mind. But is it kind of like, is it, again, just kind of a red herring where it's just like, you know, maybe it's a fan, a stalker of Sidney, right? Maybe it's somebody that is just obsessed with Sidney, and they're not a killer. They're not crazy enough to, like, kill anybody or anything, but maybe they're just enough to wanna, you know, break into Sidney's house or something like that. Or maybe they're the ones that are the patsy, right? Could they be the ones that get caught up and everyone thinks that, oh, they're the killer, that person got out, the cops are like looking for them, right? Kind of like in, what was it, Halloween? That was the Halloween Kills, when you had the psychiatric patient that everyone thought was Michael, and everyone's like, evil dies tonight, and they just like chase that guy, and he ends up learning how to fly. I gotta be careful how I phrase stuff, because YouTube, but you've seen the movie. If you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so like, do they do something like that? Do they go that route in that regard? I'm curious to see how that plays out. Obviously, like somebody escaping from a psych ward, they're unstable, right? Like there's probably something there, right? Do we get like some backstory? Is it, like I said, a returning character? Is it a character we're familiar with but didn't? Is it a surprise character? Is it somebody like completely out of left field that like Jill survived, something like that? We're all like, what? Like, what happened, right? I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to approach that, because like that's not something that, like, if it was, like, is this basically like the Cotton thing, right? Like, where Cotton was the red herring, he was supposed to be the bad guy, right? He just got out of prison. He has all these like sus moments, and we're like, oh, he's the killer, and then ultimately he's not the killer. Is that what they're kind of going for here? Kind of like a Cotton-esque character where he gets out, they think it's, he's the killer. Maybe it has some connection, a guy that stalked Sydney on her book tour or something back in Scream 4. And then that's that, and that's kind of how they approach it, right? Like, there's a million ways that they go about this. I mean, it could always just be the killer. I hope it's not, because I just feel like then at that point it's just like incredibly predictable, right? Like, like that's one of the things that I like about the idea of like it being a red herring, right? Whoever the character is, having them essentially lead you down a path, and then they end up trying to save you at the end, or try to save Sydney at the end, and then ultimately die, and we're like, oh, it wasn't them all along, right? Or is it somebody that was, like I said, a stew that was reformed, and now he's trying to prove himself, and he escaped to try to help Sydney because he knows who the killer is, or something like that, but Sydney won't let him anywhere near him, right? Like, there's a lot of ways that they could approach that. At the end of the day, right? Like, this is, I think, this would be an easy explanation and an easy kind of explaining of Sydney's children, right? Like, okay, so you have the two oldest daughters, they're being attacked and hunted by Ghostface, and then the youngest daughter is with Grandma. Like I mentioned, does Sydney watch her children get attacked, or does Sydney get attacked while on the phone with Grandma? Right? Because that could go either way. And then that the mystery character that's gonna pop up, and is that how this film opens? Does it open with somebody escaping from the psych ward? Does it open like Halloween, where somebody escapes from the psych ward, kills the couple people in the psych ward, and then gets free? Is that how this approaches? Is that how this goes? And they just kind of wait for their approach. Like I said, there's a lot of ways they go about this, a lot of ways they can approach this. But at the end of the day, I'm excited. And, as long as it's done correctly, good storytelling, good execution. That's all I care about. Character building, character development, all of that stuff. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? What do you make of this information? Do you like the idea of a psych ward patient escaping? Do you not? Do you think it's like, it's just such a typical trope? What do you think of Sydney's grandma, mother-in-law, and grandma for the children potentially getting attacked? Or, like I said, is it Sydney that gets attacked? How are they going to slice this? But anyway, either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.